Hey guys, any of you who have wanted me to upload a video that was unedited and unscripted, where I didn't go back and change things and have a plan, you're in for a treat. Any of you who appreciate that amount of editing that I do and the structure that I bring to my videos, you might want to leave. Today is my 5-year anniversary on YouTube, and I thought that it would be fun to give you a little bit of my YouTube history. I've got my entire video archive pulled up here on my phone. I'm looking at it. I have a list of my top 20-ish favorite videos that I've ever done, and I'm going to kind of walk you through my process, my experience on YouTube as much as I can remember. I have my glass of water. Let's just dive in here because I can't cut to anything, right? So, 5 years ago, I uploaded a video called Greetings and Salutations. It doesn't say anything. It's just like, hey, it's me. I'm up in my attic filming, because I thought it was funny that people were filming in their closets and in their bathrooms, and I wanted to film somewhere weird, so I picked the attic. It was literally just testing how to upload, how the lights were going to look, how the audio was going to sound, how this was all going to work. I'd never done it before, so I decided to upload a video about nothing and put it on there. And it's still there. If you want to check it out, you can. I will include links to some of these videos in the description of this video if you'd like to see them. But you can also, you can just pull up my history if you want and sit down with me, grab a cup of joe, and let's go through this. So I'm not going to talk about each one of these because there's a lot of videos here. When I started, everybody starts making videos for different reasons. I don't know what those reasons are for everybody else, so I'm not even going to talk about it. My reason was as a form of creative self-expression. I wanted to try to build an audience that I could communicate with through art. It's how I communicate. It's how I see the world. I consider myself, I want to ask you something now, but I'll pause for a second. I'll get back to that. I consider myself, I guess, an explorer, a philosopher, my vehicle of choice, my, whatever you want to say, is art, creativity, anything that's creative, music, drawing, photography, makeup art, anything that you can think of. Not much of a modern dancer. I used to ask this question to people when I was in high school. And I think it's kind of hokey, but if I haven't asked you yet, I'm going to ask you now. If it were thousands of years ago, before the world was explored, before science had disproven things that were magical, before we knew what was on the other side of some great expanse of ocean, when your role in your community was vital to the survival, when you were sort of a gear that really helped things move and go, what do you think you would be? Think about it. It's something that's kind of fun to meditate on. I've thought about it numerous times. I usually come up with the same answer. I find it interesting to ponder, and this goes back to why people start making videos, I guess, what their intent is, where they fit their little gear into this machine. And it also gives insight into... I'm going to digress again. This is how I talk when you're just talking to me. You don't get to know this because I edit all this out. I believe that there are sort of hunter-gatherer types. There are advisors, philosophers. There are nurturers. There are warriors. There are all these different personality types. I believe that they were something that was necessary thousands of years ago in a community of humans. I believe that those personality types are still present in people today. However, in this day and age, you have to be all of those things. You have to wear all of those hats. It used to be that this is an example. Let me throw this out. It used to be that you would maybe have your warrior king who would go out and rally the troops. Rah, we're going to go rape and pillage and conquer. Rah, and everybody, yay. That warrior king had advisors behind him to say, let's maybe not go over there. Let's go over here instead. And they thought of life like a game of chess. But if we do this, then we can do this. And then we get there. And he would go, oh, okay. The warrior king would have a hard time taking a step back and contemplating life in that way, thinking of it in terms of a chess game. Those advisors would have a hard time going out among the legions of soldiers and trying to rally them up and going to some village and bashing people over the head. Everyone had their own natural sort of inclination, I guess. Today, we're supposed to be all of those things. We are supposed to be the warrior king and the advisor. We are supposed to, our house is our castle. We're just supposed to go out and conquer and do all of it all at once. I believe that this creates, pardon my phone, I can't edit that out. I believe that this creates, but I can turn it down, a type of, I'm going to say spiritual sickness, an emotional sort of spiritual uneasiness that creates anxiety in people because we are sort of railing against nature. So back to this question. If it were thousands of years ago and your role in your community was vital, what would you be? I just think it's interesting to meditate on. I have always thought that I would be some kind of a monk. The idea of a life of quiet, solitude, contemplating, philosophy, thinking about the universe and my relationship to the universe, purpose, what's the reason for things, transcribing things on paper, tending to a garden, painting. That's very appealing to me. I quite like it. I like the idea of it. Once I realized that, it was actually helpful for me to be able to say, oh, well, that's kind of what where that feels like home to me. It gives me an idea of perhaps what kind of a person I am and the things that I need to do to help feed my soul. It's an interesting question. So everybody starts YouTube for different reasons. I started because creativity is how I communicate, and I wanted to build an audience to communicate with. Now, there could be many reasons for this. It could be just that I had been stuck in the house for a long time. We'll get to that in a minute. And I wanted to reach out to people. So it was an available platform for me to do that. So I started uploading makeup videos. The reason I started uploading makeup videos was because I didn't know if there would be an audience for my music and for my visual art, for any other forms of creative expression that I did. I'm sort of I guess I'm kind of an entertainer in a way. I like doing the funny sketches and characters and stuff like that. It's a form of art. It's a form of expression. It lets things out that I really enjoy letting out. I didn't know that there would be an audience there. So I thought, well, if you won't take my coffee black, maybe if I put a little cream and sugar in it, you'll sit down. I knew that there was a commercial. I could market the makeup art. I'd watched makeup videos on YouTube, so I felt like I had a grasp on that. Okay, I had something to say here, and I could provide this and then slip in a little bit of art now and then without you knowing. So the first videos that I did were all about makeup art, but not for a long time. The first 4 videos that I did were breaking down makeup looks for a competition that I did online on YouTube 5 years ago. And then the 5th video that I did was right into, okay, now we're going to slide some art in here. It's all art, but you know what I'm saying. The 5th video that I did was called, I have to look, The Rejected. If you watch one of my videos, and only one, which you're watching this one, so you've already watched at least one, so I'm asking you to watch at least 2. That would be the one that I would want you to watch. It's an old one. It's like it's the 5th video that I've ever made. It's still online. It is a collection of sketches that I did with poetry set to music in sort of a slideshow. The sketches are a series, these characters that I called The Rejected. They're all these little characters that were rejected, shunned, banished, or left their society, their community, because of what they believed, what they thought, what they'd done, who they were. And I had fun with these sort of little guys and girls and these little sayings that went with them. I just thought were kind of cute. It's very Ogden Nash-y, in my opinion, a lot of the poetry is, but my writing tends to kind of be, I guess. The song that goes with that is a song called Sky Falls, Waters Rise. It's an acoustic song performed entirely on one instrument. All of the music elements are performed entirely. Percussion and strings and all that stuff is just on one acoustic guitar, and then vocals. That's actually on my last album that's on iTunes and Amazon and CD Baby, should you want to get it, called Benediction. So if you watch any of my videos, that would be the one to watch, because there's a lot of me in there. And I really like that one. Then I did some more makeup videos. I did how to make your own lip plumper. I did deep potting lipsticks, where I threw in, again, some art. I did this weird jingle of this chicken at Mac and this dancing around. Makes no sense. Just go watch it. I did an April Fool's video, navigating your cosmetics department. This is where some of the comedy starts to come in again. I've always fancied myself like I wanted to be this serious kind of artist. In my writing, in my music, lyrics, I would try to be dark, psychedelic, mysterious, but the humor always comes through. The sort of inappropriate, cheeky, a little bit raunchy, sarcastic humor always seems to come through. I just can't seem to control that. Of the videos that I've done that are makeup related, I should say, one of my favorites, I'm sort of reading through my list of top 20s. I have my Rejected video, the organizing detubing lipstick with the chicken at Mac. The navigating your cosmetics department was my first foray into comedy. That was a lot of fun. Then I did a pigment series, a series on MAC pigments. I count this as one video, though it's actually 4. I would love it if more people watched this, because I put so much work into it, and I think it's a really useful tool. Not just talking about MAC pigments, but any sort of loose eyeshadow type makeup product. This video was about how you can use MAC pigments on your eyes, on your face, on your hair, on your nails, anything that you can think of, anything I could think of, with pictures and talking all about it. It was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. And I really quite liked that one. Shortly after that, I did my first collaboration with Vivid Makeup, who used to do videos on YouTube, and that was a lot of fun. It was sort of, I got to do this deconstructed kind of makeup look that was a lot of fun. It's called Bad Girl Boy Makeup Collaboration, but it's bad. I don't know why that bad. BAAAAAAD. It makes me think of Stevie Nicks. That was fun. I did my MAC foundation video, of course. Everybody knows about that one. Everybody's watched that one. for a while, I had this idea of doing videos that were, because I was going back and forth. I was doing these like makeup and a little bit of creativity, makeup, a little bit of creativity. I started to do Mac reviews because they were popular. And then people started asking for questions about the makeup because I was doing a lot of makeup videos. So I started doing more makeup videos, and then I was doing less art and more makeup. And then I started doing these Mac reviews of their limited edition collections. Now, I don't know if you know this. Do you know this? Excuse me. But I've never been on a press list for Mac. Anything that you've seen me show, any of the limited edition collections that I got, I bought. Usually every piece from every limited edition collection. And I did that for like 2 years. That was hard and expensive. So I stopped because it was just too hard and too expensive. And quite frankly, their collection started to suck. And I got so tired of saying, hey, here's this thing that just came out and I just bought all of it and it's not very good. It got really annoying. So, but there was a time when I decided that I thought it would be fun to do these like 20, 25-minute videos or thereabouts on a theme with multiple segments. My first video that I did like that was the Tarte for True Blood collection. Tarte did this makeup collection for True Blood. And so I did this review, a demo, all the different things to do with it. I did it again with Estee Lauder's Modern Mercury collection. I feel like I'm going to burp. Which I would also edit out normally. And those were fun, but they were a lot of work and people weren't really responding to them. So that idea sort of fell by the wayside, I guess you could say. I'm going to mention one other video here. There is a MAC limited edition review. The MAC Glitter and Ice Holiday Color Collection is one of my favorite videos that I've ever done. Only because, this is so awful, I love the way that I look in that video. It's my favorite that I've ever looked. And I go, oh God, I would so rip my clothes off. And that doesn't often happen in videos. In real life, all the time, but not often in videos. I should tell you a story. Have I ever told you this story? This is an awful story. Don't ever tell anyone I told you this. I'm in a store. It's like around Christmas time, and this was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm downtown. I'm shopping, and I walk by this display case. It's like kitchen gadgets and stuff like that. And I walk by, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this guy, this really hot guy, and I'm like, he's really cute. And so I kind of turn, and I'm adjusting myself, and I'm like finding a little reflective area off to the side. I can check my hair. Do I look okay? And then I go back because I'm going to like wink at him or say hi or something. Not say hi. I'm way too shy. And I go back and I kind of like to see if he's still over on the other side of this like display case that was there. And it was a mirror. It's a horrible story, and people get so mad at me when I tell that story, but it was a mirror that was on the other side of this shelving unit, and I caught myself out of the corner of my eye. So it was funny, and it was a very good self-esteem moment that day. Doesn't normally happen. Usually if I catch my reflection, I think, oh, I look like a tall lesbian. But it was apparently a good hair day for me or something. One of my other favorite all-time videos that I've ever done, and this has nothing to do with makeup. This was after the Christmas collection from MAC, the holiday collection, was a very special Christmas special. That I had this idea that I wanted to do this Christmas special, and I wanted it to be like this old-fashioned, like on TV in the 70s or the 80s with guest stars like Rip Taylor and Phyllis Diller and Morgan Fairchild. And I don't know these people, and some of them aren't alive. But I had this, like, I just thought it would be so much fun to do this really kind of throwback people were knocking at the door. Oh, who is it? And then the audience applauds, and there's musical numbers. I did my version of it. So it is, if you have the chance, it's my, I just don't know how to describe it. It's one of my favorite videos that I've ever done. It's a collection of sketches. Some of them I'm sure aren't very funny. I did all the writing, and I'm not the best comedic writer. I try to be, but it was a lot of fun. It had monologues. The monologues are probably my favorite parts. They were inspired by a web series that Joanna Lumley did called Up in Town, I believe is what it's called, if you ever want to look them up, where she sits and she's talking to the camera, kind of above the camera, about things. There's one called Rats. I'm having a grave problem with rats in her apartment, she says. And Joanna Lumley has this voice that I can listen to tell and talk about anything, and she's such a fabulous artist and comedian and actor. And I was so inspired by these, and I wanted to do my version of them. So I did these monologues, these series of monologues in this Christmas special. The funny thing is, everything that I'm talking about did actually really happen. There's a point when there was this issue with the plumbing, and you turned on the water in the kitchen and the laundry room flooded, or some horrible thing. It was actually happening, and we were throwing a Christmas party, and everybody was canceling. But I just sort of blew it up and out of proportion. It was really sort of, it flowed very easily because everything just sort of was a disaster anyway. They were a lot of fun to do, a lot of fun. So if you get the chance, that would be one I would really recommend watching. It was a lot of work. I think it was like 20, 25 minutes. And there was a musical number. But the only guests I could get were our neighbors, who were like, sure, we'll come over. We did this like pop-up jokes thing where it was like this idea of like whack-a-mole, like you hit one and then another one pops up with it was my version of the laugh-in with the door telling jokes, but I couldn't build that in time. Looking through my my thing here, my various makeup videos. And then for April Fool's, the year after I did the Christmas special, I did one of my other favorite things I've ever done. This was, I keep feeling like I'm going to burp. This was a video narrated by my friend Donna. There it is. Who, her channel is Donna Shorts 1. And I love her voice. I love her. I love talking to her. We hit it off at some point when I was making videos. We started talking. She's so much fun. She's so fabulous. And I got her to narrate. I'm like, I don't know why I'm clapping. I wanted to do this fragrance commercial, like this Calvin Klein-esque fragrance commercial, because why not? Everybody has a fragrance, and so that just seems like fun. So I thought, I'm going to call mine Destiny, and we're going to make a fragrance video. So I wrote a script and I sent it over to her. She read it, and then I filmed it. I think it was all filmed on a phone, actually. I think this was all filmed on like an Android phone, and then I made this little commercial, and it's hilarious, and I love it. It's called Destiny. Check it out. I still want to make it. I have fantasies of making my own fragrance line, seriously, but also as a joke, because so many people have fragrances, and I just think that it would be hilarious. I kind of want to do like body powders though, because I wouldn't want to do just fragrance. I'd want to make it really impractical, and nobody really wears body powder anymore, like after bath with the big puff, I call it a muff puff because you puff your areas. It's muff puff. Nobody wears those. I do. I kind of like them. And some people do. They are still popular with some people. But I thought that would be a fun way to get the fragrance out there and have it be really like completely, what? You make what? So it's in my brain that one of these days I actually do want to make Destiny. I have a series of them because Dustin, you know how Calvin Klein, there was like CK1 and was it like CKB back in the 90s? I wanted to have Destiny, and then are you ready? Destiny's Child. That was going to be one. Destination was another one. Yeah, So many ideas. Um, After that, we go back to more makeup, more makeup, more makeup. And then I did my first Raven videos, my first Halloween videos featuring this character that I created, Count Raven Insane. Anything with Raven is one of my favorite videos. Any of the Halloween videos, any of this character, when I originally created him, I wanted something that was kind of serious and dark and brooding, with other elements being comical. I don't know why I thought that. So I went back and kind of re-examined, and I created this character, and he's wearing children's clothes, by the way. I went to like the kids section, and I should tell you this story. I go to the kids section. I'm at Value Village because I'm not going to go to like a department store to buy crummy kids clothes that I'm just trying to try on. And I'm going through the aisles of this kids section at Value Village, which is, if you don't know, it's like a used clothes thrift store, like a Goodwill kind of thing. And this guy says, "Hey, sir, this is the kids aisle, blah, blah." And he's like getting all huffy about it. And I thought, great, he thinks I'm some sort of a pervert looking through the little boys' clothes. And I'm like, I know, this is actually it's around Halloween. So thank God I can say this is for a Halloween costume that I'm putting. Oh, okay. And he starts talking to me. And then he starts talking to me about, he's just shopping for, like, he's got these friends and they have kids and he likes to get them clothes. And this friend who has these kids and he likes to and this kid that he knows and he likes to buy them clothes. And he starts talking about little kids. And then I look, and his cart is literally, I'm not making this up, mounded. It is full and like overflowing. And I was like, "Oh, you're the pervert, you pervert. Gross." Totally creeped me out. That's my Value Village pervert story. So I did these Raven videos, these Halloween videos. It was this character is a cross between, I say that it's Pee Wee Herman and Elvira had a baby, and then it was raised by like James Mason and Peter O'Toole as like this sort of gay couple in Fantasyland, and the Crypt Keeper was the nanny. That's who Raven Insane is. And that's kind of where I draw from. The voice, if you ever want to know, because I get to tell you about all these things now. I didn't know what to do. I'd never really done voices before, and I was struggling with what to say. So my friend TJ was here, and he was helping me. And he said, what's the first line? "Good evening, Darklings." And he said, just say it. "Good evening, Darklings." Okay, say it different. And he was having me say it over and over and over. I said it for like 10 minutes, all these different ways, blah, 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 any way I could think of. And then I was trying to think of what funny voices have I heard before. And so I started mimicking voices that I'd heard. And there's this little movie with Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver called Galaxy Quest. And there's this little alien. And the way he talks, and never give up, never surrender. That's Raven. So I did this, "Good evening, Darklings," and it just sounded funny. And you add a little growl on it, so it's a little bit of a shout, and it's even funnier. And that's where the voice comes from. And it just, from there, it just sort of happened to kind of unfold. The character, I don't know why he's got kind of an English accent. You could say that it's almost a little Stewie from Family Guy, but my memory of this show, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and there was an episode where they had a telethon, and there was this weird insect guy who had this weird English accent, and he shouted everything, and that's all I remember. I don't remember anything else about it. I don't remember what he said. I saw this like 15 years ago, and it was on, I think it was Cartoon Network. Is that what Space Ghost was on? That's what I drew on for my memory of that, for like his mannerisms. And he's kind of flamboyant. A lot of fun to do. Anything with Raven is one of my favorites. Shortly after I started uploading the Halloween videos, though, I uploaded a tutorial, this witch tutorial. I wanted to do my take on kind of classic monsters. So there's the vampire, there's the witch, there's what was the other one? Not a werewolf. I can't believe I don't remember this. Oh, zombie. Durr. That was the first one, I think. My version of the witch was intended to be this character that was kind of like wandering a desert for a long time. I actually had in my mind, people don't know this, but there's this is another one of the things that I do. There was a screenplay that I've been working on for a long time that was originally, I used to do a lot of comic book illustration, and I wanted to do this comic series, and I decided when I was going to do it. We're going back to like 98, around in there. Maybe even earlier, because this was like way back in high school. I wanted to do this comic series, and I had this kind of idea in my head, so I started to storyboard it, and then I was like, well, this is getting complex. I want to actually write scripts out. So I started to script it, and then the scripts turned into a screenplay, and it was something that I told myself I'm only going to take out and work on when I'm inspired, because this is something that I consider to be like one of those life's work moments, this whole story that I'm working on. The witch is actually, honestly, kind of taken a lot from one of the characters in this screenplay. I didn't say that because, why would I say that? But I drew inspiration from Klingons, from Star Trek. And there's something else I was going to say, and I lost it. This idea that this character had sort of wandered this arid desert environment on an alien planet for years, and what would they look like, and what would I look like if I was wandering around the desert for years, and this leathery kind of brown skin that would, from the sun, would burn, and then, but it's this, like, it preys on people. It's this sort of vulturous kind of creature, and I've always been attracted to villains who are a little pretty too, like the Baroness in G.I. Joe. I loved that they were double crossing. I loved that. So I wanted her eyes to be beautiful and draw people in, but then beneath this mask that she had to be all just like ripped up and torn, like she would devour her. I had this whole history of this character. I uploaded it, and unfortunately a few people just saw blackface, and that's all they saw. And it honestly wasn't that many, but it was enough to, I guess you could say, hurt my feelings, because I'd worked really hard on it, and to have something that I'd done misunderstood. And I wasn't hurt like, how could you say that to me? I was hurt as in, I completely didn't mean that. And if anything, I was concerned. I even sent the video to friends and said, is this okay? Because I had this sort of burqa-esque looking thing on, and I thought, is this going to look too like anti-Muslim? No comments ever have I ever gotten in that arena. But there were a handful of people that felt that it was like blackface. In particular, when I looked back at the comments, there was one person who had an issue with it and was really trying to rally people up. And I had actually sent them a message and tried to get them to talk to me and explain. And I was going to explain, and let's have a dialogue, but they never wrote me, because people never do. Because they don't, one of the things that I've learned on YouTube is that people don't often leave comments, especially the hateful ones, for you. Never. They leave them for everyone else. They leave them because it's a soapbox that they can stand on and get people to rally around them. They just want to see themselves talk. They're never really interested in dialogue, very rarely. So I dealt with it, but then what happened was, this is the part that nobody knows. I got a call out of the blue from a then friend of mine who I hadn't heard from in probably 2 years. This was someone who I was, I guess you could say, close with at one point in time, who I had really respected as an artist and as a person, and quite liked. And I got a call from him saying that he'd seen the video and that it was blackface and I couldn't deny it. And he was sort of on the attack, and there wasn't an opportunity for me to talk. It was embarrassing because my first reaction when he called was, oh my God, hey, how are you? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And then he just sort of like rips into me. So it came from an area where I hadn't expected it to come from. I expect negativity to come from comments on YouTube, but it came from a source, an area of my life where it was a surprise that I was feeling very attacked. And it hurt. It hurt a lot. And there was nothing I could say that was at all changing what he was saying. There was no conversation there. There was no anything. There was nothing. There was nothing that I was able to say that was changing the direction or getting anywhere. And he kept saying, I can't really talk because I'm really busy, but blah, 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 blah. I don't know what to do with that. And when I start to talk, oh, well, I really don't have time to talk. So I felt very attacked, and I hung up the phone and I cried. I called my friend Donna. I went for a walk. I didn't talk to anybody for like 3 or 4 days. And then I didn't make a video for a while. And then I sort of sifted through and struggled through a series of, I think it was like holiday gift guides that I did. Like, oh, here are some ideas for Christmas. And struggled through that. And then I started uploading videos that were, you'd notice this if you went back and looked or were watching my videos a lot. I started uploading videos. I blanked out my background. I had on a gray background, and I started wearing dress shirts and ties. For like a year I did this. The reason I did that was because, and this sounds maybe so silly, maybe I'm a big wuss, but this whole experience with that one video was kind of traumatic in a way, and I felt confused that I had been so misunderstood and hurt by this friend of mine who I've never talked to since. I guess it was a form of shield. That sounds really hokey. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to be. So I put on a dress shirt and a tie. And I just pretended. Put on a nice blank background and did my thing. Talked about makeup. Didn't talk about anything else. And that was that for a while. And I think there has been a bit of a struggle even since then, is to figure out like, okay, now it's like you start asking yourself, why am I doing this? What's the point? What's going on? I didn't like doing the reviews. They weren't that much fun. And they don't leave any room for creativity. It's nothing I'm making money doing. Not much. So, I don't know. I did do some funny videos here and there. I did, there was a Christmas cocktail with Doris and Melba that I love. That was a lot of fun. Jay and I dress and drag as these two characters. I'm Melba, he's Doris. And we used to do Christmas cards every year. So we did this video where we were the characters. That was a lot of fun. I did a 1960s makeup tutorial with him as Doris. That was a blast. And that's potentially one of my favorite videos that I've ever made. And I've said this several times in this, but I love watching that one over and over and over again. It is so funny to me. And I'm not even in it. I mean, my hand's in it, but I'm doing the voiceover, but it was just hilarious. Not this last Christmas, but the Christmas before, we did 2 separate videos. There was a Doris Christmas album that she did. That was a lot of fun. And then Raven came back to do 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, but in a horror kind of a version. That one was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed. I still love that, and I still can't remember the whole thing, but I remember most of it. I tried to commit the whole thing to memory, but there were cue cards, and about halfway through, I started to glance a little bit. at some point, I'm wondering when I did this video. Wait, bear with. Bear with. Bear with. Sam at Pixiewoo uploaded a video called What Anxiety is Like for Me. And after the Raven Christmas video, I uploaded one. And talking about my experience with anxiety, panic attacks, agoraphobia, because it has been something that was very prominent in my life that I've never talked about. So I opened up and talked about that a lot. I don't know if it was because just a month prior, I don't know why I did it. I felt like I don't really, there are times where I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And when you are an artist and it's how you choose to explore, when you're an explorer, an art is how you, is the boat you jump in, you are constantly going in different directions. You're constantly kind of changing direction. You're going, okay, what's down this fjord? And I had this feeling like I was at a place where I was ready for new experience, for something different. But sometimes, we carry so much around our lives. You can't see me, but I'm holding my arms out. Our lives, we carry around in these big bags. And at some point, if you want to pick up anything new, if you want a new experience, you're going to have to put something down. And I'd been carrying that around quietly for so long that it was a very difficult decision to make, because it's something I'd wanted to do for a couple years, but I didn't think that I had the guts. It just felt like I'm finally going to have to put this down, because if I'm going to do anything else, if I'm going to have any new experience, this thing that I'm carrying around is so massive. I need to set it down. So I did. It was a very interesting experience. One of the things that I don't know if people realize about the anxiety video is that it wasn't just about coming out online and saying, hey, I have this issue. I had never told my neighbors. I mean, there are people in my life that I had never talked to about this, that I'd hid things from for as long as they'd known me. So this was really a big coming out thing, coming out to people who I was actually going to have to see the next day, who watched my videos. So that was a very interesting experience. I don't know if it was just because I was ready. Obviously, I guess I was ready. A month prior, I had uploaded a video about Jay's mom, who had been diagnosed with cancer. And I asked everyone who was watching to leave comments, like a get well card. It's still on there. I haven't taken it down. It feels weird to take down. There are updates on that. And those are on my blog. I haven't posted videos on those, but go over to the blog and you can read. It's been a year. This year has been a hell of a year. And there were a lot of changes. There's a lot of stuff going on. My video output has been very minimal. And what I've been doing has been very, I think, perhaps introverted in a lot of ways. In the fall, I started doing videos where I was using other people's music to help tell my story, because I just needed that sort of freedom to be able to express myself a little bit more and have fun with editing and visuals and not have to worry about the audio. Quit monetizing everything and not concern myself with it and just worry about the art. My views have dropped, but that's, I'm not talking about Mac collections, so that's going to happen. I don't know where the winter will take me, but this is the second video that I've uploaded where I haven't done any editing. So maybe that's where it's going to go. I don't know. I think it's good to, I feel like I'm exercising in both senses of the word right now. So yeah. That's where I am. That was my history on YouTube. I don't know if that made any sense. Some of those are like I said, some of my favorite videos, for various reasons. Any detail, if I can include a list of links in the description of this, I'll put them on the blog. But just look in the description of this video for details on anything. Maybe I'll make a playlist and just link you to the playlist. That would be easy too. At some point, just look in the description of this video and I'll tell you something. Because I won't know until I upload this. I don't even know how long this is. All right. I think that's it. Don't we all feel I feel kind of like, down, but I've been talking a lot. So good moments and some sad moments and then some good moments and then a lot of just trying to figure out what's next. I wanted to upload some stuff around Christmas and do some giveaways. I've been buying stuff for the last 2 years to do giveaways. I just haven't done any. So I have things. I have lots of plans. Some of them I've talked about on the blog. So always go check there because I upload it. I update it now and then. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to stop. I hope that this was enjoyable. I know at least one of you, probably just the one, has asked me before about you should just upload a video and just talk and not edit it. Well, this is what happens and this is why I edit. So if you've made it through, thanks so much for watching. Happy New Year. It's coming up soon. And that's all. Happy anniversary. Cheers. It's just water. That's another thing that people might actually find humorous is that I don't drink nearly as much as I pretend to. I'm an incredible lightweight. I'm a total lightweight. But I just have fun with it. It's fun to make videos and have a drink and blah, blah, blah. But it's very rare. Okay. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, please leave them in the comment section. And there's information on how to leave me, like if you want to get a hold of me, what the best ways are. I try to get back to people, but I'm not always at my studio nowadays. I'm here rarely. So I'm here enough to upload and then run away and do something else. Yeah. Okay. I hope you guys had a good holiday, and I will see you soon. Wait, no. Until I see you next time, which will be soon. Please remember, take care. Should I tell you where that comes from? Drive safe. Thought you were done. Encore! Drive safe. I wanted to end my videos, and I didn't know what to... bye! See you later. It just... everything felt forced. Everything felt awkward. And I felt like I needed something. I thought I needed some sort of way to end them. So I started to think, well, what is it? Is there something I say all the time? Is there something I do all the time? I'm a little superstitious. And one of the things that I say whenever people leave, drive safe, all the time. So much so that I remember once, this was way before I started doing videos, once I was laying in bed with someone and it was, read into that however you want to read into that, but it was just, we were falling asleep. And you know when you stay up all night, like you're in high school or whatever, and you sort of start to mumble as you're maybe falling asleep because you're so exhausted, you've been up all night. And they said good night, and I said drive safe, because it was just, I don't know, it just came out of my mouth. Drive safe is something that I've always said. And I just thought, I'll say that. Why not? Right? So that's where that comes from. It just comes because it's something I've always done. I always do. And so, yeah, you'd still hear me say it. I don't know if I say it as often now or if I'm attached it to YouTube now and I don't say it specifically because it feels like I'm throwing out a catchphrase. But yeah, by default, I feel like if I don't, what if you didn't say drive safe and something horrible happened? So again, a little superstitious. Yeah. So until I see you next time, which will be soon, thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Take care and drive safe.